Good morning. This is the video recording for the digital assignment of the course PHY 5004 Electromagnetic Theory. My name is Shakti Sanjeev and my topic is going to be on the field of magnetized object. So first going into the topic, let us understand what is what the term magnetization is called as or known as. In magnetic materials or naturally materials, atoms and molecules may have some non-zero magnetic moment giving rise to dipoles. They will be arranged in a random direction, which I have given, which we can see in the first picture, where h is equal to 0 and m is equal to 0. And such magnetic moments are induced by external magnetic fields. From external magnetic fields also they can be induced, and as soon as the external magnetic field is cancelled, they go to their natural erratic directions, and in permanent magnets it will be aligned in the same direction in which the external magnetic field was provided for a long period of time than other materials. So there in permanent magnets we can say that there's a magnetic field it's produced by them when the external magnetic field is switched off, and also there is no electric current is passing through that material. So there a magnetic field is produced. So we are going to my topic is going to be on how those magnetic fields are produced on materials when external magnetic field is induced, is given and taken out, those scenarios. So when external magnetic field is given, the moments they get, as I said, they will aligned. So this lead to a term called magnetization, in which the magnetic moment, it's called as net, when they get aligned they will give rise to a net dipole moment throughout the material. So magnetization is the net magnetic dipole moment per unit divided by volume, which is magnetic dipole moment per unit volume. So bound currents, as I said, in magnetized materials which are magnetized by the external magnetic field, they produce magnetic field by themselves, as we see in realistic picture. So we are not providing any electric current passing through them. So in magnetostatics we say that we see and we realize how the steady current flowing through a material induces a magnetic field, and we studied how those magnetic field get behaved on changing the values of current and how they get varied. So here in this topic we are going to see how the magnetic field are produced by external magnetic, like the magnetized material which are controlled by external magnetic field, not the electric current. So here we are considering a material which is with a net magnetization capital M, and also we are considering a single dipole which is a small m at a small volume d tau. So we are going to see how the magnetic field arised from this dipole is affecting the point P, let's say P, at distance r. So now the vector potential due to this dipole, this single dipole, is given by the formula A of r is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m cross r cap by r square, where r is the distance between the magnetic dipole and the point which we are considering that it will affect. The magnetized object, the magnet which under consideration, carries with volume at d tau dash carries a dipole moment m, capital M d tau at each volume d tau. So when we are going to consider total material, we are going to integrate it throughout the volume, and thus we are getting the second equation, which is A of r is equal to mu naught by 4 pi integration magnetization m of r dash cross r cap by r square d tau. R dash is the is the relative length. This is the relative distance between the magnetized material and the point which we are considering. Now we to make this to realize how the integration truly works, or what information it carries, we are going to use an identity to change the form of the integral. So that identity is given by, we saw del of 1 by r is equal to r cap by r square. This is an identity that we have been studying for a long time. So now we are going to employ this identity to the previous equation, and we are going to change the form of the integral. Now after changing, to solve this, we are going to use integration by parts. By considering del 1 by r as u and m of r as v, and after integration we arrive at this equation which has two parts, which is uv minus integral v du. So this is the equation that we got after the first equation is the equation that we arrived from integrating the integral by parts. Now I have indicated two different terms, blue and red. So blue term, I have given the vector potential that is arised due to the volume currents is given by the formula A is equal to integral of volume J by del r d tau. So the equation of that form of potential is looking alike to the blue form. So we are considering del cross m as volume current JB, and as like the volume part, we can see that the red part is similar to what we can find in surface current, potential due to surface current, which is KB. This is given by m cross n. The red part is in the first equation. The red part is in the volume integration. This can be changed using lemma 1 to surface integration, and thus we can employ the KB in the final potential form. So finally, after considering these individual volume and surface currents, we are arriving at the equation A of r is equal to mu naught by 4 pi integration of volume integral JB by r d tau minus surface integral of KB r by r dA, which is the area. Now from this equation which we found by considering vector potential, says that there are two sources or two causes that gives rise to magnetic field in an object, which is which is devoid of any electric current. So from this we can say that the magnetic field in a magnetized object is getting produced by two different currents, such as volume and surface current. So volume current is JB and surface current is KB. Now the B notates the subscript B in J and K denotes bound currents. So this is something analogical to what we see in dielectric, where bound charges are there. These both this is analogy to electric, how we deal with electric currents in dielectrics. There we say bound charges, they will get aligned when the external electric field is provided. As like that, we are considering here dipoles instead of electric dipoles, here magnetic dipoles, and thus bound currents instead of bound charges. And we saw in these cases we made use of vector potential to get an idea how the magnetic fields are raised in those materials. Now let us physically, by considering some parameters, realize how the bound currents arise in the materials. So origin of bound currents. Now physically, the bound currents that are arised in the magnetized material are due to the miscancellation of microscopic currents, microscopic currents inside the material. When the external magnetic field is provided on the material, they will induce, as I said, they will make the dipole to orient along their direction, and thus it will induce a microscopic currents inside atoms. So which inside atoms, those microscopic currents, they may or may not get cancelled. So when there's a difference between magnitudes, they will give rise to what we are mentioning here as bound currents. So now let us consider, make use of a model which we are going to consider as we are going to consider a crystal of dimensions, which a crystal of dimension L, where that crystal material is uniformly magnetized, and its total magnetization is given by capital M. So the magnetization is along Z direction. So that is when you are saying it's perpendicular to the screen. So now the surface is that we are considering is in X and Y. Let's consider like that. Now for simplicity, we are further going into the crystal and considering a small cube that I have zoomed out and have given as we are considering the dimension as A. This is A cross A cross A square cube, that depicts a single atom, the single dipole, single magnetic moment. So we know that the net magnetization per unit volume capital M, and the area or dimension of the cube, and thus the magnetic moment of a single atom or a single cube that is under consideration can be given by small m is equal to A cube capital M. So from this we can get the current that is arised due to the magnetic moment as M by A square. Thus we can get a surface thus we can the I we calculate is for a single magnetic moment, and thus the surface current can be obtained by K is equal, K is given by I by A, which is the current that we arise due to the single atom divided by the length, and thus we are getting M by A cube. So K is equal to M by A cube for a single cell that we consider a single atom. And now we saw the single atom, how the currents are arising. So we are considering the currents are flowing in the direction counterclockwise. So like they are flowing in counterclockwise. So in this figure, the first figure, we can see how the counterclockwise looks like. How the when we consider whole figure, this is how we are representing the currents due to the atoms. And now at boundaries of each cell, we can see that the neighboring adjacent direction of currents are opposite to each other. So they will get usually the opposite current, they will get usually cancelled out. So when we consider in the middle, when we consider the second figure, we can see that when we consider in the middle, all those will be occupied in all those will be surrounded in opposite currents, and thus they will totally get cancelled. There won't be any net current. However, when we from the middle, when we go to the boundaries, there won't be any opposite current at the adjacent sides. Thus they will get added up, and they will give a non-zero current at the boundaries with no cancellation. So for that we can in the previous slide we saw how we are finding current due to those arised from the atom. We use the same formula here. K is equal to I by A, where I is the current, I is the net current, and divided by the length A. And so here A represents the total length of the crystal, and thus total length gives to volume. And we saw capital M is the net magnetization. So thus we are getting K is equal to M. So this is over 4 vertical sides. So when we considering a vector notation, this can be given as K is equal to capital M cross n cap. N cap is the vector normal to the side which we are considering. So when you are considering top, it will be along the top side, and right and left it will be on the either perpendicular sides. So in vector notation it can be said like that. And This model we consider here is a uniform magnetic moment, uniformly magnetized material, magnetic material. So this in this there is no any misalignment or alignment of magnitude of the currents. So they are uniform and they will give surface current since there is no change along different directions. But to realize the volume current density or volume currents, we have to change, like we have to shift from the model which we taken care, which we considered in the previous slide, to a slightly changed non-uniform magnetized materials, where the magnitude of the currents in the material can be changed based on the directions which we are considering. So different atoms will thus we saw in this we saw each circle which represents the current have the size of the circle defines the magnitude. Every circle is of same magnitude, same direction, like that. So in this model we are going to consider different magnitudes, like small circle, big circle, so different magnetization. So when we consider in magnitude format, they won't get cancelled each other. They will have a non-zero net current, as we saw in boundaries. Here in boundaries we are having non-zero, at the middle we are having zero currents. But when we consider non-uniform magnetized material, even in the center we will have some net current which will not be get cancelled due to the difference in their magnitudes. So thus the surface current based on x direction due to adjacent neighbors is given by the formula k is equal to minus y, which we saw in the previous slide, capital M cross n cap, where n cap is the perpendicular, the normal vector to the surface. Here we are considering x direction, so normal, which is y. So minus y cross a is the length, and dou by dou x of mg by a cube, which is the this a del by del x of mg by a cube gives the magnetization over this gives a magnetization, and thus this will give rise to kx, and thus we can say, since the magnetization is on z direction, we can change now we consider x, and now y it can change along y direction also. So ky is given by x, which is normal to y plane, which y direction, and x cross a del by del y of mg by a cube. So this gives to k, the first equation gives kx and next gives ky. So to find the volume, to find the total volume current, we have to sum everything, and sum everything to give k, and the volume current JB is given by 1 by a k, which is the total surface current. So while upon adding and solving we get JB is equal to del cross M, which is capital M, which is the net magnetization. So finally, when we realized using two different approaches of how the magnetic field is getting arised, how the magnetic field works in the magnetized materials. So from both the cases we saw that there are two different causes or sources from which the magnetic field is arised from the magnetized material. So which is, one is k, which is the surface current, and J, which is the volume current, and k is given by m cross n cap, and J is given by del cross m. The images depicts how we are assuming the k and J. So k is the surface, thin surface, which doesn't transform into volume, so surface, and J is, here we have mentioned it as circle, but it changes when we consider 3 dimensions. It will change to square or cuboid, like that. So we in conservation laws we saw that every volume current or volume density must obey the conservation law, like the continuity equation or conservation law. So thus will does this J, which we are considering volume bound currents, will also obey the conservation law? Yes, it does obey, because we saw that J is del cross M, and when divergence of J, which gives divergence of del cross M, which automatically becomes 0, because divergence of curl is always a 0. So this says how about how the origin and the magnetic field arises in a magnetized material. Now let's go. This magnetized field will have an intensity field. This is the magnetic field that arises from the magnetized material will have an intensity field. So now we are going to see how the intensity field is the mathematical notations or equations for the magnetic intensity field. In dielectric materials, in the electrostatics, we made use of two different fields. It was for the convenience we consider two different electric fields. One is the electric tension field or the external electric field that we applied, which is capital E, and electric displacement field, which is capital D. So this displacement field we are forming it from the external electric field E plus the polarization vector, which is the polarization vector is how the atoms or the electric dipole moments get polarized due to the electric field, and this gives rise to displacement field. So we for better usage we consider two different fields. Likewise, in this magnetized materials, we will make use of two different types of fields, which is magnetic intensity field and magnetic induction field, which is B, and the other one is H. So when we see microscopically, or when we go to the atomic sizes, we know that there is only one standard field, which is B. But macroscopically, as we saw that there will be cancellation, or there won't be due to the difference in magnitude, and thus macroscopically we have to sum every part of the magnetic field arise from atoms over a volume, which is given by B macro, which is the volume integral of a function of distance and the length, with a function of distance and length, which is with B micro. So the f which we have given is some non-negative averaging function. This averages the distance and the dimensions of the crystal or a material that we are considering to ease the formula. So for example, I have this is the example of how a function of how the elements of the function can be. And so as like microscopic field B, B macro also obeys laws such as zero diversion equation, which is divergence of B micro is 0, as like B macro is also 0, and Ampere law, which is curl of B micro is mu naught J micro under a small volume which you are considering. As like that, curl of B macro over a huge volume is also given by mu naught to the net volume density such as J macro. So from small to the net volume, so J macro. In the macroscopic Ampere law, which we have given here, the net electric current includes two different currents, two different J currents. One is we saw bound currents, which are bounded to atoms or molecules, or how they orient that bound currents, and another is due to free macroscopic current due to the free electrons or free electrons that are flowing over the volume. So we are considering two different bound currents from which the magnetic field is produced. So the Ampere law changes to the form of del cross B equal to mu naught JB plus mu naught JF, which is equal to we saw earlier that the bound current JB, volume bound current JB, is equal to del cross M. So we are employing that equation here, and we are going to rewriting and solving. We get the form as del cross B minus mu naught m. The mu naught del cross m comes to the left side and taking the del common, which is equal to mu naught Jf, which is the free volume current. And as I said, we are going to name two different fields for ease. The B minus mu naught m, we are going to introduce that specific part as capital HR, which is called as magnetic intensity field or magnetic tension field. So it is defined as 1 by mu naught Br minus Mr, where B is the magnetic field and M is the magnetization. So this is the last equation, given highlighted in red, gives the equation or form for the magnetic intensity field H in magnetized material, not the H we see in magnetized field. And after substituting the form of H to the Ampere's law, we see that del cross H is equal to the Jf, which is due to electric conductance, the free volume current, which is free volume current. So we saw del cross H is equal to Jf, which is the free volume current. So now the Ampere's law in the magnetic material gets an integral form of closed line integral H dot dl, the small length part, is equal to I free, which is the current, the free current that's flowing in the material due to free electrons or free ions through the loop which you are considering. On the other hand, so we saw this is how we are denoting H, or this is how the form of H we consider, or it comes like this. On the other hand, we are seeing how it behaves and such things as like B, so B and H are interrelated like D and E. So there will be some similarities, right? So some contradictions also will be there. So we saw similarities in B micro and B macro, as like we can see here. B, the magnetic field, which we are external magnetic field, or the magnetic field usually is a divergence-less quantity, which is divergence of B will always become 0. While when this as like that, when we do the divergence to H, the magnetic intensity field, it won't get vanished, but it will give negative of divergence of M. So we can see the contradiction here. What is the difference between normal magnetic field and the magnetic field arised in the magnetic material? So we can see that it won't get cancelled, but there is a similarity how the magnetization changes, how the magnetization takes control of magnetic intensity field when the B cancels out. So this is how the magnetic intensity field or the magnetic field inside the magnetized materials work. In normal SI units, the H field is measured in amperes per meter, is 1 by A by M, and the B field, the normal magnetic field, is measured in Teslas and Teslas. So finally, to wrap up, this is how the magnetic field in the magnetized material work when there is no external electric current is passing through them. When the external current is passing, this magnetic field that from these materials are induced or getting arise from within the material due to the alignment of atoms within them. There is no any electric current that causes this, as we saw in magnetostatics. So my presentation gives a light on how the magnetic field is works, or the forms of magnetic field in the magnetized material. So these are the references that I have used, and thank you.